Did you know the average English speaker knows over 20,000 idioms, yet most of us only use a fraction in daily conversation?
Wow, that's a mind-blowing number. And today, we're diving into a fresh batch of phrases that you might hear on the street, at work, or even in a text message.
Exactly. We'll get to grips with meanings, origins, and real-world examples, so you can actually incorporate these expressions without sounding forced.
And by the end of the episode, you'll be able to gear up for any conversation, and maybe even luck out with a perfect phrase at the right moment.
So stick around, because we're about to plow through a list that's as tasty as a toffee-nosed treat, and as surprising as a flame that appears out of nowhere. Let's start with get to grips with. It means to begin understanding something thoroughly. For example, you might say, I need to get to grips with the new software before the deadline. And right after that, you can gear up, which is to prepare yourself mentally or physically for a challenge. Think of an athlete gearing up before a race.
Great point, Sarah. And when you're ready to move fast, you might hear someone say, let's Uber it. It's a playful way of suggesting you take a ride-sharing service to speed things up. Meanwhile, plow through describes tackling a massive workload with determination. Like plowing a field, you keep moving forward no matter how thick the soil gets.
Exactly. And if you're hungry for knowledge, you can tuck into a subject, meaning you dive in eagerly, just like tucking into a hearty meal. Speaking of luck, luck out is the opposite of luck out. It means to have an unexpectedly good outcome, like finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
That's a great point, Sarah. And it leads us to elaborate on. When someone asks you to elaborate on a topic, they want you to add detail and depth. And sneak up on is a sneaky way of saying something approaches quietly, like a surprise birthday party that sneaks up on you.
But here's what's really interesting. Time can fly by when you're immersed in something you love. And if you're punctual, you'll be on the dot, arriving exactly at the scheduled moment. Have you ever felt time fly by while you were tucking into a new hobby?
I have, Sarah. And when someone says it's so you, they're pointing out that a behavior perfectly matches your personality. Like saying, that's so you, always late. Meanwhile, have more money than sense describes someone who spends recklessly, like buying a yacht they can't afford.
What most people don't realize is that infamous isn't just famous for good reasons. It's fame for a negative reason. Think of a notorious scandal, and act tough means to pretend you're stronger or more intimidating than you actually are, often to hide insecurity.
Exactly. And that reminds me of toffee-nosed, a British term for someone who is snobbish or overly refined, like refusing to eat street food because it's too common. On the other hand, moreish describes food that makes you want more, like a bag of chips you can't stop eating.
Here's where it gets fascinating. To frown upon something is to disapprove of it openly. For instance, many cultures frown upon speaking loudly in a library. And when you elevate an idea, you raise its importance or status, like elevating a simple suggestion to a strategic plan.
That's a great point, Sarah. And it leads us to incorporate, to blend something into a larger whole. Companies often incorporate sustainability into their branding. And to flag an issue means to mark it for attention, like flagging an email that needs a reply.
But the real game changer is understanding the negative side. To stall is to delay progress, like a project that stalls due to indecision. To falter means to lose strength or confidence, perhaps during a presentation. And a flame can be literal or metaphorical, a sudden burst of anger or a passionate idea.
And that's just the beginning, Sarah. Because when something exceeds expectations, it's beyond one's wildest dreams. Think of winning a lottery you never imagined. Yet we must remember the proverb, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, reminding us that even well-meaning actions can lead to trouble if not thought through.
Today, we unpacked a whole toolbox of idioms, from get to grips with to the road to hell is paved with good intentions, giving you the confidence to use them naturally.
I hope you're feeling ready to gear up, tuck into conversations, and maybe even luck out with the perfect phrase at just the right moment. Remember, the more you practice, the more these expressions become second nature, and that's truly remarkable. Next week, we'll dive into idioms that originated from sports and how they've seeped into everyday language. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us on Phraseology Playground. Keep exploring, stay curious, and until next time, keep speaking your mind.